to the JUI, and in many ways the MQM, even though it's a much larger party than the JUI, and seems to have a much greater hold over a cohesive part of the country in terms of its political narrative. It's surprising that it behaves like the JUI insofar as having some kind of a principal disagreement with the PPP, but choosing to remain part of the government. This again is a reflection of the nature of patronage politics and the ruralization even of the urban voice in Pakistan.
Right now, Mr. Zaidi, what is going to be the impact of this decision on the entire country's political scene? Do you think the PPP will complete its term even without the MQM in line?
You know, I try not to make predictions. My hope is that the government, more than the government, my hope is that this parliament will continue and complete its legal term as it was elected by the people of this country. I don't think that it's entirely out of the possibility, the idea of a change in government, but the equation to pull off such a change and the hope that such a change will lead to a more stable government, I think is really, I think if we hold that hope, we're living in fool's paradise. Any government that doesn't include the PPP with the current sort of mass in the National Assembly will not enjoy stability, because just like the current opposition and indeed the smaller parties see some wiggle room to extract more things from the government, the PPP will have tremendous leverage in terms of its ability as an opposition party, if a change in government was to take place. The PPP would automatically become dramatically stronger than it is, I would say, even as being the government today.
Mr. Zaidi, do you think in choosing to quit the federal cabinet, the MQM has distanced itself from the policies of the government, especially with the next elections in sight?
No, I mean, I think it's really difficult for any political party to demonstrably distance itself from this government, because I think there are really very few policy disagreements. Most of these issues have to do with political posturing and with extracting more cabinet seats and more regional and local favors from the federal government and from the PPP. So I think it would be disingenuous to claim that any of these parties has any kind of a moral superiority. And I think the voters will be able to see through that, at least at the macro level. Of course, the MQM has less stake in the macro picture in this country because it's not a national party. It's a party that continues to be restricted largely to Karachi, Hyderabad, and maybe small pockets of urban areas in the rest of the Sindh province. So I think the moral superiority or any kind of a normative advantage is pretty limited for any party.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your time and your comments, Mr. Mosharraf Zaidi, political analyst, giving us his thoughts on the MQM's decision to leave the federal cabinet.